Welcome to Making with Molly, where today we are making Mickey Mouse cake pops. Now at Disney World you can find these in just about every Disney confectionery, and they also have other types like a Mickey head-shaped cake pop. There's a poison apple cake pop, Jack Skellington. One of my favorites was the rose cake pop, and then also the classic Minnie and Mickey cake pops. So today I'm going to be showing you how I like to make my cake pops, and then showing you how I used to decorate them when I worked at Disney. So stay tuned. First things first, we are going to make our chocolate cake. So preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and grease your pans. You can use a 9x13 pan, or I'm using 2 circle pans. Makes no difference, just as long as you don't burn it, it's fine. Then in a mixing bowl, combine 1 packet of chocolate cake mix, 1 packet of instant vanilla pudding, 1 cup of water, 1 stick of margarine, and 4 eggs. After it's all mixed together, pour it into your greased pans. I'm using 2 9-inch pans, so I'm going to separate them evenly and then bake them for about 24 to 29 minutes. If you're using a cake mix or a different pan size, then follow along with what the instructions say on the back of the cake mix and then bake away. After your cakes come out of the oven, let them sit in the pans for about 10 minutes, then transfer them over to a wire rack. If you find you have any hard edges on your cake, cut them out, set them aside. We don't need those. We want our cake to be super soft. After your cakes have sufficiently cooled, crumble them into a large bowl and combine them with about 16 ounces of chocolate frosting. After the icing is all incorporated, scoop out little balls onto a lined baking sheet. I found that this batch yielded about 46 cake balls. We're then going to stick some food-safe lollipop sticks into our cake balls. Then refrigerate for at least 2 hours. You'll want to make sure that they're nice and firm so that they won't fall apart or off the stick when we dip them into chocolate. While the cake pops were chilling, I decided to do some Minnie Mouse cake pops as well. So luckily I found some red candy melts. If you don't have red candy melts, you could use some white chocolate and some red food coloring. Mix it together, but just cut off a corner of a sandwich bag and try your best to pipe bows. Some of my bows, well, most of my bows ended up looking like butterflies, but the best you can do is great. I tried to do some hearts back to back. I tried to do some letter B's back to back. It's really up to you, whatever you like, whatever works for you, personal preference. Anyway, I made those, set those aside, allowed them to cool so that they will be ready by the time that the cake pops come out. Okay, let's talk about when the cake pops are fully chilled. It is now time to decorate. We'll be using 2 types of chocolate, milk chocolate and white chocolate. It really helps also if you have some white chocolate discs that are about this big, as we will be using them for the ears as well. To melt the chocolate, you can stick it in the microwave. Just make sure that you don't burn it. You could use a double boiler, or I am using a special chocolate warmer. We'll also be using 3 different kinds of sprinkles: red sprinkles, yellow sprinkles, and white sprinkles. You'll want to make sure that you have the small crystal-like sprinkles. So with that, I am going to melt my milk chocolate. To get the Mickey ear shape, we're going to take some white chocolate discs and file down the little nub in the middle. You can do this by pressing it against some parchment paper until it files it down. Just like this. To make the Mickey shape, we're going to take one of our cake pops and then 2 of our white chocolate discs. We're gonna put it in just like little ears, just like Mickey Mouse. Just like that. You don't want them too far apart or too close. This is a perfect example. Go ahead and do that for the rest of your Mickeys and Minnies. Okay, now we are ready to dip our cake pops. Take one. So what we're gonna do, we wanna go left and right. And ideally, the chocolate will come up over the inner ear and coat the whole thing. So left and right. If you don't get all the way in it, don't worry. You can get in between the ears by taking a spatula and drizzling right in between what you missed. Next step, you'll want to shake off the chocolate. That way when you set Mickey down, he doesn't have a big skirt flowing out. You might find that this is a time when your cake pop decides that it doesn't want to be on the stick. If that's the case and it falls in, then just scoop it back up with your spatula, do what you can, and then you might want to put your cake pops in the cooler for a bit longer, or you might want to take the lollipop stick, dip it in chocolate, stick it back in the cake pop, and then pop it back in the cooler. If you decide to do some Minnie Mouse cake pops and want to add a bow, this would be the time. If not, you can also add it with just little bits of chocolate on the inside of the bow and then stick it on afterwards. Okay, what you'll want to do is take your cake pop, doesn't matter if Mickey or Minnie, same step. You're gonna dip it in white chocolate. Make sure that it is even all around. Shake off the excess and then immediately sprinkle it. And we are almost done. We just need to dot Minnie's skirt and put little buttons on Mickey. So first we'll take the Minnie and we're going to make a total of 8 dots. We're going to do 4 on top, 1 in the middle, 1 in the back, and 1 on each side. And then we are going to make other dots on the bottom in the windows, if that makes sense. And then right after, we are going to sprinkle it with some white sugar. So, take a lollipop stick and make your first dot. Now, depending on your room temperature and how quickly your white chocolate dries, you might want to sprinkle it right away. When I worked at Candy Cauldron, I usually didn't. But it is it's a weird temperature in my house, so my chocolate has been acting kind of finicky. So I just made a dot in the front, a dot in the back, a dot by one ear, and then another dot by the other ear. Set that down and it is time to sprinkle them. If you want, you can do all 8 before you sprinkle it. And there are the first 4. Moving on to the second 4. Make it in just the window. So right off the middle for this one, and then right off the middle for the next one. right in that window, you see? And then 2 more. Put that down. And then sprinkle. Okay. There she is. We made a little bit of a mess, but that is okay. Moving on to our man Mickey. He's just going to have 2 dots right in the front, and then we're going to sprinkle that with some yellow sugar. So just like the Minnie, we're going to take up our lollipop stick and make 2 small dots with the white chocolate. 1 more. Right in the front like so. And then we are going to sprinkle in some yellow sugar on that. Shake that off. And there is our man Mickey. And here is the final result. They turned out so well, just like the ones at Disney. Making these today brought back so many memories of my time working at Disney and at Candy Cauldron. I had so much fun making these. Quite a lengthy process taking them in and out of the fridge, so just be prepared for that. But definitely give these a try. And until next time, happy making!